onto the ice cream mode, but this is not gonna be an ice cream episode. But first, ice cream. So, anyways, welcome back to Michael's. Now I messed up my head. Welcome back to Michael's fanfic. We have just finished the 1.5 hours of the last week that I had, and it's the regular one. It's called A Different Beginning. Somehow landed on the next NSFW fic that I'm going to read today, which will now be called. I'm just gonna go straight ahead, right? Which will now be called Lust in Blue. So this is after this fic. Okay? Yeah, this is after post-canon. So this is after the show that appeared. So, all right. So this is called Lust in Bloom. Okay, it's post-canon. Already dating. There are this, and then admiring a naked lover while, yeah, sex dreams probably. And then he would be the top and bottom will be the land. He would be the top and Lance would be the bottom. So let's just read the summary. Oh, this is a sneak peek on what this would be. So let's read what this let's read what the sneak peek, the preview of what this pick is. All right, here we go. Bitch, says slowly. Voice slow warning. What did you do to my boyfriend? I didn't do anything. He's the one who sniffed the dang plant. Pidge. Okay. Just here's the thing. You know how mom has seen of researchers who cultivate new plants from different planets? So they got some new ones recently and they finally bloom. And we were told by the locals to handle them with care because they are very potent. Spit it out. Aphrodisiac. Oh, wondering what that aphrodisiac is. Before we're going to do anything, let's look up what is aphrodisiac. So this is the substance. Aphrodisiac is it's a food, drink, or drug that stimulates some sexual desire. Any food that can be aphrodisiac, and that could definitely lead to sex. Yeah, that lead to some sexual desire. So willful behave sexually, sensually, something. So this is interesting. Okay, let's get on to it. But this is this was written in 2009. And yeah, I might have to remind you, this is an NSW one shot. So if you're under age 18, don't watch this video or don't read this fic at all. Just watch something else that is not NSFW. So, well, ain't further much to do right now. Let's hop on the story.
Warning. This one-shot is not suitable for under 18. Listen at your own risk.
Lust in Bloom. He is on a mission when he gets the first call. He and the Blade are passing out supplies to families, lined up as far as the eye can see. He's crouched down, passing out bottles of sweet juice to children when his communicator first buzzes. A quick neck tells him it's from Lance, which he'll admit does make his heart gives an embarrassing little skip, but he's busy. And Lance knows he ignores calls when he's busy, but he'll always call him back. He hits ignore, tucks it away, and thinks that's it. But that's not it. The next call comes in right after. This time he doesn't bother pulling it out. Just lets it buzz away in his pocket until the call disconnects. He smiles and pats the child on the head, watching them scamper away with want love and wandering thoughts of the possible future with kids of his own. The Lance, a family. Then his communicator starts going off again. He frowns, but otherwise ignores it. Sometimes Lance gets lonely, and he's prone to repetitive calls when he's excited, but it always calms down eventually. It does not calm down, and that's when Keith starts to get worried. He gets 5 more calls in rapid succession before he caves. Hey, he says, classmate Akshan on the shoulder, lifting his communicator when she glances at him with a raised brow. I've got to take this. It might be an emergency. Can you keep an eye on things? She nods with a curve. Of course. He gets a good distance away before answering the income call. Lance? He asks as his own face takes up corner on the screen. The connection seems shaky and it takes someone to connect. When it does, he is quick to say, Lance, are you okay? Is everything alright? What's wrong? But he cuts off as a soft moan echoes out of his speakers. The veil is fuzzy and staticky, but when it does catch a glimpse of his bare shoulders, flushed cheeks, lidded eyes, and wet lips parted and panting, Keith, oh frick. He knows that whine. That's a desperate, needy little reedy whine he gets when he's close to and needs Keith to push him over just the edge. Whoa, stop up earlier. Keith bristles, body go intense as heat floods up his neck, settling hot in his cheeks. Lance, what the heck? I need you, baby. Baby, please. Lance's voice is broken, cracking on its own as well as chopped up through a weird brain connection. But Keith gets the idea. Lance, he says, sharp and stern, I'm on the job. I can't, you can't just call me like this. You know better. Keith, please, you don't understand. I need, you can wait, he says with finality, and Lance whines. I'll call you back when I'm done. He answers before Lance can voice a protest and turns his communicator on silently. Then stomps back to the relief station and refuses to make eye contact with the others. He doesn't feel warmth on his face, prickling at the tips of his ears. He can still hear the soft pants of Lance's breath on the tail end of the needy moan. It's bound to be a long day. Okay, I read the first part and starts off right off the bat. And I mean, Keith was still in a job mode, trying to get away all, but no, just be part of the Memora. And then this communicator comes from Lance, start to feel more of a feeling the moans and all that stuff, and it starts to get some like, oh yeah, I need some of that. I need you. Well, what? Lance need Keith. Why? I don't know what's going on with Lance being that all that moaning thing here. This is just the first part. There are 4 parts of this. This is the first one, and we're started off right away. Okay, let's move on here. Later that night, Keith ends up getting a call before he can make one, but it's not from Lance as expected. It's from Pidge. Hey, Pidge, he greets as her face fills up the screen in front of him. He leans back in his chair and eases a smile on his face. Oh, thank God you answered, she says with a sigh. Enter body slumping. Now that he has a moment to take her in, she doesn't look great. She looks tired. Dark circles under her eyes, hair messier than usual. She looks exhausted. But more than that, from the way she rubs at her eyes and sides, she looks exasperated. Of course, he says wearily. Why wouldn't I? He shrugs. Sometimes when you guys are on planet, you don't answer. Being busy and all that. He'll give her that. That's fair. What's up? You don't look great. Thanks, she says readily, setting him a half-butted glare. Is there something wrong? His brows knit together. Uncertainty prickles beneath his skin, worry seeping to his veins. Well, not exactly not wrong, but it's not right either. Pitch, that makes no sense. Look, I tried. Give me a break. It makes perfect sense. She sighs once more, pushing her glasses to the top of her head and burying her face in her hands. Keith, I don't know how to tell you this. He sits up straighter, fear running hot and cold down his spine. What is it? He snaps, words clip and sharp in his word. What happened? She glares between her fingers. Calm down. It's not dire. Not like that anyway. No one's dying. He relaxes, if only minutely, leaning back in his chair. His eyes narrow, brows furrow as he frowns. I just don't know how to tell you this. It's awkward as heck, and it's kind of my fault. But let's be honest, Lance is impulsive as heck. Lance? Yeah, this call is about Lance. Pitch, he says slowly, voice still in warning. What did you do to my boyfriend? I didn't do anything. He's the one who sniffed the dang plant. Pitch. Okay. Just here's the thing. You know how mom has a team of researchers who cultivate new plants from different planets? So they got some new ones in recently, and they finally bloomed. And we were told by the locals to handle them with care because they're very potent. Uh, spit it out. Aphrodisiac? Keith's eyes slipped closed, slouching into his chair with an exhausted groan. Pidge just chuckles, sounding awry as she says, yeah, so you can probably guess where this is going. They've been using protective gear when dealing with the plants, but Lance and I were talking about how he could use the plants to seduce you when you visited. He don't look at me like that. It was a joke. Aphrodisiacs are mostly BS. How was I supposed to know that it would mix differently with human biology? Pidge, I swear to God, if you poison my boyfriend, he's not poisoned. Jeez, look at your pennies in a twist. He's just, he tried to sniff the plant to test. Maybe on a dare, maybe on his own free will. Who knows? Stop glaring at me like that. Point is, when he touched it, the flower kind of poof, all this pollen in his face. And he inhaled a lot of it. And, well, we ran tests. He's not injured, and it shouldn't cause him any lasting damage. It'll work out of his system in a few days. No harm, no foul, but, like, this is my humble request on behalf of the entire garrison to come home early. His eyes narrow. How bad is it? If I'm being honest, pretty bad. He's, to put it bluntly, horny. He's freaking horny all the time, and he can't hide it. Like we had to handcuff him to keep him from touching himself in public areas. And then I caught him running himself on a wall, Keith. A wall. The doctors think we need to have someone monitoring him at all times. And so far, that's been me. And I'm honestly sick of it. I did not need to know what he sounds like in the throne of, and it's going to take decades to wipe this from my brain. Please come home early, Keith. I cannot deal with this. I'll owe you anything. Anything you want. Just please freaking take care of your boyfriend. I'm at my wit's end. Keith sighs, slapping both hands over his face and dragging them slowly. Let me get this straight. You got Lance high on alien sex pollen. It wasn't my fault. And now I need to take an early vacation because you're tired of babysitting his horny butt. He's so gross, Keith. I don't know how you stand it. Because he's hot. And I think it's sexy when he gets whiny and bends. Her lip curls, her whole body rearing back with disgust. Then you two belong together. Seriously, come home and be gross together so I don't have to deal with it. How long does it last for? Hard to tell. You got a pretty heavy dose, and the doctors think it could last several more days. But the locals say it works through the body faster if you have a partner to. I hate having to say this. To get off with wormholes. I can be home and have an Earth day. Thank God. Hurry. Help us, Kikagni. Stopped. You're Lan's only horny hope. I hate you. Make sure my boyfriend doesn't die before I get home. He hangs up the call, already out of his seat, and on his way to let his crew know that he's taking the vacation early. He's frustrated at having to leave the mission early. Exasperated that once again, Lance Midge proved that they still get into trouble when he left home, but he can't deny the excitement fluttering in his chest or the heat coiling low. It's going to be an interesting trip home. Okay, so this plant thing, this is aphrodisiacs. Okay, I already explained to you what aphrodisiacs is like any kind of food or flower or plant that can definitely make you feel like you're into the sex move or something like that. But yeah, this is how he did it. Lance did this a little there. He just sniffed it and touched that flower, and all of a sudden he cannot deal with it. He just likes to touch himself, you know. He likes to pleasurize himself. I can't. I don't know. Is there any way I could do this into the family friendly? But this is NSFW, so who cares? Oh my goodness. Well, Pidge begs to Keith that he has to come home early because Keith is the only one who can stop this pollen thing that spreads to Lance. Oh well, let's see how this we're going because Keith's about to go back to Earth, I think. Yes, Earth and see where it goes. Who knows? All right. This is just so happening. Okay. hmm. This time when Lance calls, Keith is expecting it. He's relaxed in the pilot seat of one of their one-man fighters, made for a quick travel in their preferred method whenever they leave the BOM ship for visits elsewhere. He didn't have much to pack. Most of these things are back on Earth. He had left as soon as he informed his crew and gave Aksha the authority to oversee things while he's gone. Key connects his communicator to the ship's mainframe, allowing him to pull out the call in the holoscreen just to the side of his controls. Lance's voice echoing around the cockpit as he lets out a breathy Keith. The moment the call connects. Hey, he says, voice soft and even. He tries to keep his amusement out of it, but a smirk tugs at the corner of his lips. The screen is just a close-up of Lance's face, and it looks absolutely wrapped. Hair messy, as if hands have been running through it. Small curls cling to his temples with sweat. His cheeks are flushed, eyes lidded in glass, pupils blown so wide that he can barely make out those pretty big blues. His bottom lip is red and swollen as he works it between his teeth, shiny and wet. He swallows hard, already feeling each surging low, and his twitch in that tight confines in his blade uniform. Pidge told me his voice spin up, his jaw clenches around a high one. Eyes swelling close for a second as his body momentarily tenses. He swallows, breath coming heavy as he gets out of the rush. She told me you're coming home. I am. She told me what happened. Keith's gaze roams the screen, taking every detail. How are you holding up? It hurts. It hurts so much, Keith. I can't. He immediately bristles, sitting up straight and eyes narrowing. It hurts? He asked sharply. Pitch didn't tell me you were in pain. No, not like it hurts, but it's. His eyes shut tight, face scrunched up, and while that pretty flush don't change, he looks distinctly more embarrassed than turned on from the wall. It's like I have from hell. No matter how much I get off, I just get hard again. It's not satisfying. It comes in waves, but still feels like there's no break. It's just aches. Perhaps the Horn Desperation should be doing something for him. But honestly, most of what he feels is sympathy. You can see how frustrated Lance is and how much he wishes it would stop. He's clearly not enjoying it. So the least he can do is help him do that. Are you touching yourself right now? Yes, voice pitched low. Lance perks up immediately, focus zeroing in on the screen. One aberration. Yes? Keith hums, eyes lit as he nods away. Let me see. Set it up so I can see all of you. Lance blinks, taking a moment to process. And then he's scrambling to obey, arranging a pillow to prop up his communicator across the bed, and his entirely on display. His shirt is pushed up to his chest, showing off the narrow waist and the fine abs that twitch and flex. His pants are pushed down to his thighs, giving Keith a teasing glimpse of those long, slender legs. His is hard and glistening from lube, flushed, dark, and weeping at the tip. His hand strokes it absently, slow and steady. His eyes are locked on Keith. Oh, baby. Keith mumbles. Voices all rumble. Lance's body immediately reacts to the pat name Keith only ever uses when they're intimate and alone. His back arching and teeth biting at his bottom lip to hold back a whine. That looks painful. It is, he pants. Keith, please. I'm on my way, baby. You've got to hold it out. Can you do that for me? I don't, I don't think I can. Shh, you can. I know you can. You said it comes in waves. Does it come after you get off? Only for a little bit. Okay, good. Why don't you get off from me now? And then rest, I get home. Think you can do that for me, baby? Lance's hand speeds up, eyes squeezing shut as his body tenses. Keith, that's it. Such a good boy, aren't you? Gonna put on a show for me? Keith comes, appreciatively as Lance's other hand snakes down his body, cupping his while his strokes speed up, twisting his palm over the head and smearing. He floods through him, coiling low and tight. He leans back in his chair, thighs spreading to give his aching some relief. Lance gasps and twists, half buried his face in the pillow, eyes squeezed shut as he pants. Keith, that's it. You're doing so good. Do you have Lou nearby? Lance's eyes crack open, peering at him, leaded and heavy. Yes. Why don't you get that? But shh. I know you don't want to stop. But it's just for a moment, okay? You can do it. That's it. Good boy. Being so good. Keith praises his voice soft and low as Lance reaches for the Lou, struggling to pop the cap on it. Get your fingers nice and wet. That's a good one. So eager for it, aren't you? Already fingering yourself before I can even ask for it. Keith smirks, leaning back in his chair, eyes locked on the screen. He sets his ship to autopilot and shrugs up the overshirt that marks him as the commander of the Blades. Tossing it aside, he reaches down the palms of hard and curved beneath the skin-tight bodysuit. See what you do to me? He mumbles, lazily rubbing himself to simply keep the aches away. Lance's eyes snap to the screen. He was blown and tongue snaking out to wet his bottom lip as he stares at Keith. You want this? Yes, Lance breathes. Show me how much you want it. And he does, like the good boy he is. The fingers deep in his butt, moving enough bigger that Keith can hear the soft squelch of blue with every thrust. His body arched tight, muscles flexing, sweat making his exposed skin glisten. He fists his hard, chasing after him just on the gentle encouragement and praise that falls from Keith's lips. It's a pretty speckling of white across his taut, tense stomach. It collapsed then, panting hard, eyes barely able to stay open. Good boy, Keith hums, trying to etch the pretty sentiment. You didn't, Lance says between breaths. Nope, saving it for you. Lance whines, and Keith smiles. I'll be home in a few hours. Get yourself ready for me and get some rest if you can. Okay? Okay. See you soon. Hurry home, space cowboy. Lance's voice is a sleepy mumble, already losing himself to a nap in the wake of his. He just smiles and ends the call. Oh, I am trying to read this, and this is just the third one. This is just the third part, and we're not even get to the final part. I'm trying to compose myself without me saying this laughter. Okay, hold on a second. Oh man, I am that much of getting this seduction here. This seduction level is like mid somewhere medium to high level now. In the medium to high level. And I'm trying to compose reading this without giving myself a laughter, giving myself a break because I've done that and I read this stuff. But anyways, yeah, Lance is having a hard time. He can't even take it because Keith is the one who unlocks everything. He's just ready to pull it out of that, and then Lance make sure he has everything ready to make sure he gets it, and then put all this and just make sure that loop ready to go, and just puts it right on the gosh. Oh, please help me with this. Oh, help me with this. This is something that I had to read, but this is like unexpected. Reading these parts is just so. Oh, I can't even calm down for it. Okay, you know what? Let me take a break for a second before I could compose myself, so and I could start for it. Paige is waiting for him as the ship settles in the docking bay, practically bouncing her toes as he pops out the top of his fire and pulls himself out of the cover. Ah, thank God, she said as soon as his feet hit the ground. He looks exhausted and haggard, shoulders sagging with relief as she surges forward to hug him. Aren't you supposed to be with Lance? He asked, brows furrowed as he pats her back. You weren't with him when I called earlier. Yeah, because I've been given much needed privacy. She steps away, lip curling. I've been sitting outside his room with headphones on in case he needed me, but otherwise I've left him alone to do whatever he needs to do. Keith huffs a short laugh and Paige rolls her eyes. I came running as soon as they told me you were in the atmosphere. She reached out to pat him on the shoulder, give him a solemn, unblinking stare. He's your problem now, before spinning on her heel and striding away. He blinks at her. Where are you going? To drown myself in work and hopefully erase my memories from the past 24 hours. She pulls over her shoulder. Good luck with Lover Boy. He probably should be embarrassed by how his twitches, but he feels no shame. He spent the last few hours alone with the thoughts of Lance, determined to not touch her despite how desperately he wanted it. He hadn't received another call from Lance year, leaving him to illy imagine all the things he'd been getting up to while waiting for Keith to arrive. Thankfully, he put his commander's robe back on, effectively hiding the half job he's sporting. It takes a minute to make sure his ship is taken care of, documented, and officially stored. But as soon as he's free, he takes off through the halls of the garrison, moving with a brisk pace and a stern look in his face that wards off anyone who might want a conversation. No one tries, but he's not sure if it's his sharp scout or if it's merely because everyone knows why he's here, because it spreads fast in the garrison, after all. How many know that he's here to screw his boyfriend within an inch of his life? How many of them know Lance is desperate and needy behind closed doors, eagerly touching himself as he waits for Keith? It's an interesting thought, and Keith can't deny the excited thrill that burns through him. He hurries down the familiar path to Garrison's dorms at a brisk pace. He and Lance share a room here, in the building that houses the teachers and commanders. Lance spends some of his time at his family farm, and he spends some of his time out in space. But here, they have a home together. It's nothing special, nothing fancy, just a bare minimum apartment with a small kitchen, living room, bathroom, and bedroom. But it's theirs. And when Lance is there, it's home. Garrison had offered to give him his own apartment to have whenever he visited, but he had declined. He would have to spend all his time at Lance's place anyway. When he reaches their apartment, the door is unlocked. He slips inside quietly, silent as he closes it behind him. The living room and kitchen are empty. Shadows stretch as the amber glow of the setting desert sun shines through the windows. The whole apartment is eerily still, but he has no doubt that Lance is here. Page one had let him leave, and for what he saw earlier, he doubts Lance would even want to leave, especially when he knew Keith was coming home to him. He locks the door quietly, padding across the apartment on silent feet. The bedroom door is slightly ajar, and within, he can hear soft, steady breaths. He pushes it open slowly, taking it all in. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, musk, and sex, immediately sending goosebumps shivering across the skin, body light everywhere. The bed is a mess. Blankets toss and turn, bunched up and half falling off the edge. Lance lays atop the chaos, body completely bare, smooth tan skin on display against the dark sheets, corner which is haphazardly thrown over his hips and waist, long legs tangled in bedding. bent so his body curls around Bill, held to his chest with strong arms. His face is relaxed in sleep, a sharp chin roughened by a light layer of stubble, beautiful and strong, handsome and soft. Keith's chest tightens, heart skipping the beat as it always does when he sees Lance for the first time after weeks spent away. He takes off his blade uniform with practiced movements, taking his time to stay as silent as he can, setting pieces of armor aside with great care. All the while, he watches Lance, memorizing the way the setting sun casts him in streaks of fire. Once there, he steps to the edge of the bed, knee coming down on the mattress softly, pauses to see if there's a reaction. The Lance remains blissfully unaware. Emboldened, Keith crawls across the bed, settling in behind him, laying on his side with his body curved in just the right way to cradle Lance, but still keeping a few inches of space between them. He's close enough to feel the heat radiating from his skin, and Keith's heart hammers in his throat as he reaches forward, gently taking hold of the sheet thrown over Lance's body, pulls it aside slowly, eyes eating up every inch of skin as it's revealed to him, the swell of his hip, the curve of his butt, the soft hairs on his shapely thighs. Lance stares as the soft sheets slide across his skin, body tensing and shivering, a soft hitch of breath, hips rolling to grind against the pillow he's curled around. Keats props himself on an elbow, looming over him to get a better look at his face. Brows pinched, lips parted, face slowly scrunched as he pants shallowly. There's a pretty flush working its way up his neck. His hips don't stop. They find him somewhat jerky with him. His body mindless grinding forward and chasing 10 lines of friction while he dreams. It seems he doesn't have to be awake for the weird and pollen to take effect. His stares with him is gentle, even as his twitches in with interest. It's something saw with adoration, light and sharp with arousal. His fingers itch with the need to touch. His chest burns with the need to gather land into his arms, bury his in his butt, and mark him up so everyone will know that this gorgeous man is his. Keith hums, reaching out to lightly set his hand to Lance's side. The man's body shivers at his touch, muscles twitching beneath his palm as he runs his hand down to his hip. His breath catches, picking up the rhythm of his lips as picking up the rhythm of his hips as Keith moves to cut the curve of his butt, giving it an admiring squeeze. A soft sound escapes Lance's lips, caught between a sigh and a moan. Oh, baby. Keith says quietly, leaning forward to press his lips beneath Lance's ear. You're dreaming about me? Mm, Keith. That's right, baby. I'm here. Keith's hand slides down the back of his thigh, then around to pull back up his side, over his hip, fingertips dancing along his ribs. I'm here. He runs seat along Lance's neck, latching on the stuck dark marks into quivering flesh. Keith, he whines, eyes flutter open. They remain lidded, pupils blown and eyes dark, unfocused as he tilts his head. Their gazes meet, but he looks wholly dazed. Keith smiles. Hey there. Lance licks his lips, words slur in tongue sluggish moments. You're here. I am. It's me. His hand slides back down to Lance's head, and he scoots forward to finally press the length of his body against the curve of Lance. Fitted them together, seamlessly, flesh to flesh, hot where they touch. Lance arches into him, leaning back with a content sigh, eyelids fluttering. He chugs low, nibbling at the shell of Lance's hair. Couldn't wait one more week for me to come home. Just had to get in trouble so I would get called back early. Not my fault. Lance mumbles absently. His hips are still moving, grinding forward against the pillow and back against Keith's. So you didn't want to test out some strange aphrodisiac alien sex pollen? His brows furrow, but Keith isn't sure if it's the pout or because he's focusing on the friction screen. I just, I just want to see if it was something. Keith, frick, something we should try together. Keith hums, fingers dancing along the curved Lance's hip, lips tugging those marks as Lance bites ship, spreading for him and silently pleading for him to move his touch downward. How bad is it? Bad, Lance pants. Bad. It hurts. Touch me, Keith. Please. I need it. It said it would work through your system faster if it got off with a partner. His hands come close to Lance before jerking him away, leaving to arch his back with a tense whine. Instead, he moves the palm of Lance's butt once more, fingers curling teasingly along the underside and grazing the back of his face. He nuzzles behind Lance's ear, voice hot and heavy as he mumbles, "Wonder if you would feel better if you had my in your butt." The sound Lance makes his pitch high and hips pushing back against Keith's hand as his fingers slip between his cheeks, and he pauses as they come across something hard and cold compared to the heated softness of Lance's flesh. He leans back, palm coming down hard with one butt cheek and pushing them apart to reveal the end of the pretty red glass plug he had gotten Lance for his birthday. Frick, he whispers, voice hoarse and low as his fingers gently brush along the plug. You said you wanted me to stretch for you, Lance says, and while he still sounds needy and wrecked, there's definitely some of his signature smugness there. Just a shimmer of bright tease he loves to be. Mickey glances up at his face so he can see the subtle tat of his mouth. He chuckles, taking a hold of the plug and pushing it in, admiring the way Lance gasps and arches into it. You're a good boy, aren't you? He gives the plug a few shallow thrusts, grinding his own against the curved Lance's butt. So eager. He knits on Lance's shoulder, then soothes the spot with his lips. So beautiful. Lance turns his head with a soft, questioning whine, lips parted and searching. He indulges him, leaning over to capture his mouth in a deep and lingering kiss, tongue exploring before he pulls back to whisper against lips. So perfect. He, I need it. Shh, I got you. You know I do. Relax for me. He takes hold of the plug and pulls it out gently, capturing Lance's lips once more and pushing into that simple, pliant mouth with his tongue. He tosses the plug to the other side of the bed, far enough away to be out of mind, but careful to keep it from the floor. Lube? He asks, nipping Lance's bottom lip. Under the pillow. He pants. He finds it easy, not hidden and not meant to be so, while he coats his and gives himself some leisurely strokes. He watches Lance continue to rut against the pillow, head turned and livid gaze fixated on Keith's bones, lips parted, cheeks flushed, looks hungry, needy, desperate as he pushes his hips back and pins Keith with a look that he's helpless to resist. He's always been helpless when it comes to Lance. No matter how much he crumbles, no matter how much he submits, no matter how pliant and soft and needy he is under Keith, he's always the one in control, always the one with Keith wrapped around his finger, tugging at his heartstrings and getting exactly what he wants whenever he wants it. He presses the head of his against Lance's hole, feeling the muscle flutter and contract, eager to pull him in. Ready? Yes, suddenly more breathless than intended. Yes, Lance sighs with relief, reaching around to pull his own cheeks apart, pushing back to try to push himself onto Keith's himself. But Keith holds his hips still. Relax. He mumbles as he pushes forward, watching him off as he sinks slowly into Lance's body, loving the way he quivers and shivers beneath his touch, loving how his breath hitches and grows, soft and satisfying. That's it. Good boy. Taking me so good. He sits in easily, amazed, somewhat surprised, but also not quite, at how thorough Lance had been stretching himself. So eager for me, weren't you? He asked, voice kept low to high, how it shakes as he pushes his hips flush into Lance's butt, leaning forward to press his chest tight onto his back, nuzzling to the crook of Lance's neck and peppering the heated skin with soft kisses. Keith, Lance whines, trying to squirm and move his hips, but unable to beneath Keith's tight grip. Please, please move. Oh, oh God, it's so hot. It's burning. Please, got you. He moans, pulling back slowly, drawing it out, forcing Lance to feel every inch of the steady drag until he's nearly pulled out. He hovers there, smiling against Lance's shoulder as the man squirms. Do you trust me? He asks. Yes, Lance breathes without a shred of hesitation. Then let me take care of you. He pushes in just as slowly, burying himself deep and then holding himself there until Lance squirming. He screws him like that, slow and controlled, each stroke smooth and consistent, forcing Lance to feel every dragging inch, forcing him to focus on every second he's being filled, forcing him to play close attention to the length of Keats' the width of it, and exactly how full he feels with it buried in his butt. His fingers curl tight around Lance's hip, nails biting into flesh. The glide is deliciously smooth. Lance's butt gripping him so nicely, and he's warm, hot, burning on the inside far more than he's ever been. The heat radiating from his body as sweat prickling along Keith's temples. He bites at his own bottom lip, keeping his self-control in a tight leash, determined to drag this out as long as he can. See his boyfriend win an inch of his life with a nice, slow, agonizing break. It's a losing battle. Keith can feel his own desperation mounting, his own drive to chase after his pleasure and screw hard and fast into Lance's flying body. But he holds it out as long as he can, builds it nice and slow for both of them, until he's clenching his teeth and Lance babbling, panting, pleading in a jumbled mix of English and Spanish. Keith, he whines, desperate as his fingers curl into the sheets, gasping hot and heavy against it. Keith, please, frick me, frick me, frick me. Keith's hips snap forward, quick and rough, and Lance's words break up in a strangled gasp. He does it again, another snap, punching out another song. You like that, baby? He whispers, voice low and hoarse against Lance's ear. You like that? You want it like that? He snaps his again, setting a bruising pace, so different from before, quick and rough. The sound of flesh on flesh is filled. Yes, frick, Keith, don't stop. Please, don't stop. Let me hear how much you like it. Keith's jaw clenches, holding Lance's hips still as he rusts into him again and again. The rust is becoming more and more shallow. This last one. Keep that pretty mouth open and let me hear you. And he does. Keeps those red swollen lips parted. Lets every breath that Keith punches out of him rattle past his vocal cords, creating an unending stream of soft moans and low groans, high whines and half-formed words. Touch me. He manages to say between breaths, touch me, touch me, touch me. Keith's hand slips around Lance's hip, wrapping around his swollen, checking fast and quick in time with his thrust. For me, baby, he whispers. I'm close. For me, and I'll fill you up. Lance comes with a strangled cry, and his tired body locking up and tensing as the pleasure rolls through him. He clenches around Keith's fingers, and after only a few short thrusts, Keith's falling after. Right now, his with shallow, lazy thrusts. They lay like that as the second pass, bodies going limp and chest heaving with every breath. And finally, Keith pulls out, slow and careful. He rolls up the bed with Girl, going to the bathroom to retrieve a wet washcloth, bringing it back to help clean up the mess they made. Lance comes content as Keith takes care of him, eyes closed and body heavy. When he's done, Keith collapses in the bed, flopping onto his back with a satisfied groan. Lance immediately curls into a side, head on his shoulder and arm wrapped around his waist. Keith's arm wraps around him and continued silence, thick with satisfaction, and after the haze of settles in the room. He isn't sure how long they lay there, but he is certain that they both nod off, dozing in a half stare of near sleep, until he feels Lance's leg wrapped up his own and saw pleasure running against his thigh. He cracks open his eyes, looking down to find Lance's eyes still closed, but face flush. Really? He mumbles, voice thick with sleep. Lance's eyes flutter open, lidded and pupils roll. He licks lips, but smile he offers is sheepish. NSFW pollen, baby, he says, voice slurred. It's not over yet. Pete snorted softly, his fan coming down his left side, thumb gently stroking the soft skin. I still need to recover too. It's okay. Lance helps. Eyes falling close as he nuzzles Keith's chest. He can feel the man's smile. You just lay there and look pretty. I can take care of this one. And so he does just that. Lays there and lets Lance grind against his side, his own violently twitching with interest. He whispers soft encouragement to Lance's hair, holding him gently as he pans against Keith's chest, chases his own pleasure against his high and hip. If this keeps up, it's going to be a long and exhausting couple of days. But you can't deny that it's good to be home. Well, that is it. Keith finally gets home, and now, oh my goodness, that is that's one of the interesting NSFW one shot that I ever read in my life. That's one of the Clancy's one shot that I ever read in my life, and that's, oh my goodness, I am hot and flustered. This one shot is, oh man, I had to compose myself and just read this whole thing, and also me censoring some stuff out because I don't want mine to get demonetized. Well, my channel for that one is not going to be at all safe at all. So I mean, I'm glad that Keith's home just for Lance to take care of. So he did it. They did the do, and now Lance is still in the middle of this sex pollen thing. Now he has to do it by himself. Now Lance has to do it by himself and just did the pleasure, all that on his own. That's nice. That's a really nice of it. Okay, I kind of want to get to whatever the next one. And the next one is going to be a regular one shot. Thank God, because this is gonna be very dreadful. Okay, so this is the 4 one shots that I read. I've done a different beginning, so it's either Can I Tempt You, Lost Skater, or McLean Apothecary. Let's spin this. Okay, so it's McLean Apothecary. So that will be the next pick, which is the last one. And this is Schitt's Creek. There's mutual pinning getting together. Yeah, this is based on Schitt's Creek. I don't know that show. Okay, that's it, guys. I guess we're done here, and I'll see you next time with another stuff. Oh, I already closed this open. Anyways, bye, guys.